tonight, baby, I'm gonna show you. Oh, the love you dreamed of, the love you've never seen. With your little like face, you can fake it, but your body's big.
While some people love a quiet life in the countryside far from the madding crowds of the city, most people, especially the youth with a ravenous hunger and thirst for fame, will do anything to keep dancing under the city lights. But just like beauty, fame can be so deceptive as it robs you of your peace, pressing you with constant urge to please the masses, and in this case, your fans. Of course, fame has its advantages that I will not argue, for it gives you a platform to be heard and seen by even the entire world if you wish. With fame, you can be able to move mountains from controlling the political stage like Bobi Wine, the people's president, or even just sitting at the table with dignitaries you never thought would cross your paths. But I tell you for sure that fame without discipline is all vanity, and this we will see today as we explore the life of Mowzey Radio, a music giant whose love ballads echoed in almost everyone's ears as they fell asleep, and was even waking them up with the sounds of a Buddha as their alarm. He undoubtedly was a music giant, but his life would unfortunately end so soon, having catapulted so fast, giving us his best music in such a short time. His performance is outstanding. He was sure going to be the Michael Jackson of our time, but he fell fast, never to return. Welcome and welcome back to Tavern Crime Chronicles. Here we explore mysterious, chilling, solved and unsolved cases, approaching them with empathy and extensive research. If you have the nerve for fascinating stories, this is your channel. So, grab a drink and hydrate while I take you through the heartbreaking life story of a boy with a voice like a radio. This is the story of Mowzey Radio. Born Moses Nakintija Sakibogo on January 25, 1985, in Kakiri Jinja, present-day Bukwe district. Not much is known about his roots, but Moses was raised by well-wishers and relatives. His mother, Ms. Jane Kasubo, separated from his father when Moses was still an infant, and no one knows for sure his names or even whereabouts. He was earlier raised by a Jinja-based Catholic missionary priest, Gerald Peter Pikavet, and would later move in with his uncle and paternal auntie, Ms. Sylvia Nakinjite, in his later years of high school after the missionary father, now 80 years retired. Moses went to Kibiwai Primary School in Makinde, Holy Cross Lakeview, Jinja for his O-levels, and later Kira College Butiki for A-levels, before joining Makerere University, where he graduated with a bachelor's degree in community sociology in 2005. While at Makerere University, Moses released his first solo song, Tuja Kuba Wamu, in 2004, and that paved way for his music journey as he went on to join Leon Island after his graduation. You see, Mowzey Radio, as he was popularly known, had always been artistic and always knew he would be a musician in future. An old friend, Stephen Wakaza, told journalists that Radio was inspired into music by his nursery school teacher, who would often tell him that he would be a good musician, and that changed his life. Stephen and Radio went to Holy Cross Lake Senior Secondary School Jinja, where they shared a desk. Radio was a bright student, often coming among the best 5 students in class. He was very good in literature, English, and music, a subject that most students loathed because of the solfa notes that were difficult. They say, some people are born great. That was true for Radio, as he was born with a music talent far beyond anyone would fathom. He was always voted the best in music competition, even at district level and all competitions he participated in. And while at school on Parents' Day, he could sing and move the audience. He led music in the Catholic chapel and was described as the best vocalist and actor in inter-house competitions. He also loved art and was one of the best fine art students, later opening an art gallery shop in Kampala. Radio was a man of many talents, but music was like food for his soul, as lyrics were always playing in his head, the reason he wrote many songs without any difficulty. It's for this reason that Radio was put a notch higher than the rest in the music industry. While others struggled to make music and even buy a good one to hit the charts, Radio was a songbird, a songwriter, a performer. He came on the entertainment scene and it felt like he was the only musician in the country, for his music filled the air in homes, hostels, shopping arcades, and nightclubs. To be fair, his coming reeled the people from the fading dominance of Jose Chameleon, BB Cool, Bobby Wine triumvirate. What Radio and his partners did was offer us a glass of cold water in the desert, and then go ahead to feed our emaciated music industry with sweet hits. While Radio was the main voice, he carried along a friend, making it a dynamic duo, the best to have graced the country's entertainment scene then. After graduating from the university, Radio joined Leon Island Music Empire in 2005 and started as a backup singer alongside Douglas Mayanja, popularly known as Weasel behind Jose Chameleon. He had first success in the year 2005 after he had released a reggae love song called Jennifer, and in 2006, Mowzey Radio released another single titled Sweet Lady, a song that was well received and introduced them to the fan base in Uganda. In October 2007, Radio, Weasel, and Jose Chameleon toured the United States and the Caribbean, but before they returned home, Radio and Weasel had misunderstandings with Jose Chameleon, which led to the split. Fortunately for them, this was a blessing in disguise, as they agreed to work together and formed a record label, Goodlyfe Crew, with their stage names as Mowzey Radio and Weasel. Their first song, Nakudata, was a hit, and like luck would have it, it was like everything they touched turned to gold. They went on to produce so many hit songs and became the darlings of many, with every radio station playing their music. Radio and Weasel had many hits including Ability, Bread and Butter, Magnetic, Mr. DJ, Zwena, and Potential, among others, which played on radio and TV stations in Africa. In their career, they did collaborations with both local and international artists, winning awards and several nominations, including the BET nominations. For most men, especially in the entertainment industry, fame comes with not just money but pride, women, friends, and most of all, the drugs and alcohol. Radio had them all. Women threw themselves at him, and he was quite the generous charmer, which made him a baby daddy to so many children he didn't even know existed. He was the king of clubs, which he frequented in the company of his friends, both male and female. However, he was known to always cause mayhem wherever he went, as he demanded respect from everyone, demanded the club DJs to play his songs to the extent of throwing a DJ's laptop in the swimming pool. At one function, while his voice was music to people's soul and a darling on stage performance, his presence was normally unappreciated in many bars because of the havoc he caused. He was known to pick up fights while drunk with anyone, even men twice his size and well-known bodybuilders. Unfortunately for him, this whole charade would not last a lifetime, and one fist fight at a bar in Entebbe would be a fist too many. January 22nd, 2018. On this fateful day, producer David Bangiti, popularly known as Washington, visited Mowzey Radio at his home in Makinde, and because he wanted to go to Entebbe, to the site where he was constructing a house, he requested that Washington escort him, and this is the story as narrated by the celebrated music producer. While on the site, Radio received a phone call from a lady called Pamela, who told him to find them at the bar, a popular hangout in Entebbe. Arriving at 6 p.m., they found Pamela already at the bar in the company of her friends who they didn't know. Radio joined the group on the table, but Washington sat on the other side as he did not want to mix with people who drink. It was getting late and the air tense, thus Washington started to get a bad feeling and asked Radio to leave, but he insisted on staying. While Washington waited in the car for Radio to show up, he grew impatient and asked Pamela to demand that he leaves, which she obviously did not do, because when I went in to check, they had moved to another table and their voices were high-pitched and tone had changed. Laughter was soaring to the roof, and Radio bought a bottle of whiskey for the group and poured in different glasses. Whatever made him agitated, we may never know, but Radio started pouring whiskey on the manager for talking ill about him, which angered the manager because the rest were laughing. Anger was now soaring, and within a blink of an eye, the manager threw the table and headed for Radio, ready for a fight. But they were separated by Troy Wamala, popularly known as Troy the club bouncer. The The bar manager was escorted back, and as the group left sensing incoming disaster, Troy came after them demanding to know why he would disrespect the bar manager. He then grabbed Radio, lifted him up and threw him down, unfortunately hitting his head first on the concrete, and they heard it crack. Washington immediately picked him up and his eyes had shut down. They drove him to Emmanuel Hospital on Entebbe Road, but there was delay in attendance and they requested for an ambulance to Nsambia Hospital. While at Nsambia, they were referred to Case Hospital because the ICU was full, which admitted him after a sum of 14 million Ugandan shillings was cleared by his then-girlfriend, Jenny Robinson. Radio sustained serious injuries from the brawl when he was hit on the concrete, causing his neck to break and skull to crack, thus blood leaked to his brain. There he remained in coma for the next 8 days, and unfortunately breathed his last on 1st February 2018 from a clot in his brain. For so many days, the country was in mourning at the loss of such young talent, and some even angry at why the youth waste their lives in alcohol and drugs. People were in prayer, and for a long time, this one event united Ugandans as it was the only thing being talked about. The president, Yoweri Museveni, offered support in medical bills and even condoned with the bereaved. When he finally breathed his last, his body was displayed at Kololo National Stadium for public viewing. And oh, what a sad night as the young songbird whose music they played laid lifeless in the casket, while ardent fans cried their eyes out. He was laid to rest in Wakiso district and continues to be remembered every last week of January. Meanwhile, after the bar fight, Troy went into hiding after realizing how sinister his actions could have been. His only prayer was that Radio could live because although it was a spur-of-the-moment action fueled by anger, it was detrimental, and unfortunately, a life was lost. Troy was now the most hated man in the country, having ended the life of a star, and he was arrested. While in court, the Entebbe High Court judge, Jane Frances Obodo, acknowledged that the death of the singer Moses Sekebogo alias Mowzey Radio was not premeditated murder, but rather an accidental. Death, and Troy was found guilty of manslaughter, sentencing him to 14 years in jail. All things under the sky will perish, but music alone lives forever, as said in the song we sang in our childhood by Melinda Carroll. Radio's music will certainly play for a lifetime, but maybe he wouldn't just be a memory had he had the discipline alongside his talent. It saddens my heart whenever I listen to his music, knowing that he would have given us much more from his poetic music that he wrote and sang so well. But for his flaws and controversies that trapped him, just like any other mortal, Radio's powerful voice was flawless. He will forever be missed. And this here sums up our case for today. Tell me, what do you think about today's case, by the way? I'm quite sure there are lessons learned, or at least memories of him to share with the world. Kindly like, share, and comment with even his songs that you loved the most. Thank you for watching and see you next time.